BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. And there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino. All the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here.
Yo, we're back with Disco's favorite segment, the Lucha Libra segment with our boy, Harry Ruiz. Boom.
This is not my favorite segment. I don't know why you keep repeating that.
Because you're always asking, hey, are we going to, is Harry coming in this week?
Yeah. Is Harry going to be here? And Joe's like, no. What about the, no, we don't have anybody this week. I'm like, yes.
No, I get a text from Joe. Disco's very disappointed that I haven't hit you up yet. So can you please come and do the podcast? I'm like, absolutely. Let's make Disco and all of Lucha Libra fans happy. Konnan, AAA in Querétaro, sold out crowd, June 21st, this past Saturday. You had a sold-out crowd in Monterrey. You had a sold-out crowd now in the central part of Mexico and Querétaro.
And by the way, Harry, if you could, Konnan, you need to find out the people at the buildings, okay? And you need to get a contact and let that contact know, like, hey, I need the attendance for these shows. And you need to
email the attendance for every show.
Well, you need to email Brandon Thurston with these attendances so he could put them in the list of the wrestling.
That's not my job, bro. I already do enough there.
Well, you know what you do? You don't want your product promoted?
Bro, if you see, when I put up pictures and I put sold out.
But that's one account. You need to go promote yourself on various things. WrestleNomics is an account you should promote on.
Yeah, I got to do, bro, and that's not my job.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not. It doesn't have to be your job.
I used to do that. I used to do all of that, bro. Now they got other people. They're getting paid to do it. Go ahead and do it.
But they're not even. You're not even. You have to tell them to do it.
I put pictures up where we're at and that itself. Yeah, you want me to do what you want. I'm just telling you.
Dude, I'm just
not going to call Brandon Thurston or even.
This is one of those things that I see the problem in management at my job.
Right.
Is people don't like to they don't get things done.
Take the initiative.
It's because
exactly. I get more than one, bro. Let me just tell you this, and I've told you this before, but either you don't believe me or you think it's whatever. I really don't give a but I'm going to say it one more time. I personally do the job of 8 people, okay? What I do, 8 people do in WWE. I got to do, bro. I'm not going to do that, and it's not my job.
Okay. This is my point. All right, you're making my point for me. It's not your job, but you need to tell whoever could just assume this very simplistic responsibility. When you get the figures, I need you to email Brandon Thurston when you get the figures for the shows.
I could tell that guy that it's his job to do that.
I said
I used to tell him.
I said I would do that.
How would this guy know to do that? Do you want to go to Brandon? This guy.
Okay, I'll just tell Joe, and Joe can tell Brandon.
I'll send Brandon, I'll send PW Insider, I'll send Meltzer, I'll send The Torch.
WrestleTix.
The only reason you do the job of 8 people is because they pay in pesos down there. That's what I got to say.
I actually get paid in dollars, bro.
So pesos.
Yeah, and
they paid CMLL. They paid the AEW guys for pesos for the match. And
you can ask Harry. You can still, go to a money exchange. You'll lose a little bit. And change all those pesos into dollars.
Interesting.
Yeah, but if you're in Mexico, it's like, hey, just keep your pesos. Obviously, K-Dog, he's out here in the States. He needs the dollars better than the pesos.
But bro, the great thing about Mexico, as you know, is everything's cheap there.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're in Tulum or Cancun in a touristic place, you go to Mexico City and you can have a blast with a limited amount of money.
Any city.
Yep. Yeah.
Cancun, because it's a tourist trap, right?
Yeah.
So you're that's like going to Hawaii.
Do you need a passport? Do you need a passport to go to Mexico City?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you absolutely do. And just going on to a quick Google search, the Auditorio General José María Arteaga, where you guys were at in Querétaro, has a capacity of 4,200 fans. That isn't counting the floor, which would add that number a little bit more and would include this crowd into one of that top 10 the list that you guys shared the other day where it was including some fans from Arena Mexico, from Arena Guadalajara. Obviously, a good crowd for a TV show that you guys had out there. Hot start. You had Dorian Roldan, the general director of AAA, in the ring, cutting a promo against the city of Querétaro, against the fans of Querétaro, and he called out El Hijo del Vikingo and King Vikingo. He used a very popular phrase with "No te pertenece," that title doesn't belong to you. And right there, for all the insiders, they know that he was talking about, including right there for the insiders, the "No te pertenece," which is something that Octagon is using with Octagon Jr. with his character. But obviously, Octagon, the character, the image, the likeness, the name belongs to AAA. I thought that was a nice little dig right there, Konnan. What do you think?
Well, explain that story correctly, because I don't think people that don't know it, you explained it correctly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I said, like, for the insiders, for people that know, they knew the moment that it happened.
Yeah,
what
but
it was
for people that don't know, why did he say that?
Yeah, Octagon, when he arrived to AAA, he didn't have the character that's an Antonio Peña mastermind.
This is the
character.
original Octagon, the one that's not in AAA right now. That's he sued us and he's going to take over the company and all that. And he has his own Octagon Jr., who he says is his son. And then we have an Octagon Jr. So go ahead.
Yeah, so now he is, like you said, suing AAA, suing WWE, because he had the character for... How long was it, Konnan? 30 years?
I was explaining that to Disco, that in Mexico, people think that because they have the character a long time, it belongs to them, right? And that's like I've always said, you know, what's this guy's name? Let's say Jack Nicholson played the Joker on Batman. He can't go play the Joker somewhere else, and it's not his, you know, and that's why they have different Jokers. It's just like Octagon. That's AAA's. I guess they haven't wanted to fight it, or I don't really know. I've never really asked, right? But or maybe he registered it. He was smart enough to register it before Antonio Peña. I really don't know what's going on there, but I know that we do have the rights to Octagon Jr.
Yeah, and it had been a while. I mean, you guys even had Kalisto, the guy that was in WWE as Kalisto, Samurai del Sol as Octagon Jr. in the past. Now you got this guy, but even, I think it was this guy who had a meet and greet at a lucha store in Mexico City, and Octagon popped up and confronted him, took off his mask, and it's like, come on, man, it's not the kid's fault. He gets a character from the company. He's going to use the character.
So imagine this for people that don't know. This guy's at an autograph signing. He's new. He's young. He's very respectful. And the old Octagon comes in with some muscle, right? And he goes up to him and goes, you know, that's not your mask and blah, blah, blah. And then he takes off his mask at a signing, you know, and that went viral.
He took off the kid's mask, the younger guy?
Yeah, and he says, esto no te pertenece. That's actually where it started.
Mm-hmm. It's like, this doesn't belong to you.
This doesn't belong to you. So in Dorian's in-ring for the hardcores, he goes, esto no te pertenece, referring to Big Vikingo's title.
Got it.
Yeah, he's like, this is Alberto's title.
But go ahead.
They went into... Go for it, Joe.
No. I said I got it.
Okay, explain it to me.
He's using the term from this controversial moment that happened at the signing, where the original Octagon came. Yeah.
And he's been using it in interviews. He's been using it online. He's been using it everywhere. So it was pretty cool that Dorian just went into it and was like, hey, let's use it on TV here with us. So in that promo, King Vikingo ended up asking for a match with Alberto El Patron.
Vikingo's dad.
Yeah, Vikingo's dad asked for a match with El Patron. The announcers were all shocked. It's like, what? Are you serious? And then Dorian insulted King Vikingo. Hijo del Vikingo ambushed Dorian. They started getting on him. And then two masked men came into the ring, which ended up being El Mesias and Bestia 666, members of El Ojo. Mecha Wolf, my bad. They used to be tag team partners, so they were in my head right there as the same one. So they attacked them and rushed them out of the ring, and they ended up with a backstage segment where they kept on pummeling them. And Alberto El Patron showed up with the kendo stick, attacked both of the guys, sent them to the hospital, and then they came out back to the ring still in the same segment, attacked the announcers, including Roberto Figueroa, who was very friendly.
Which was great.
With El Ojo, which is really good. I wish they would have sold it a little bit more, but I do understand that they wanted to go back on the mic. And that was a great segment. They went back in the ring, and this was my favorite part of the show, where Alberto kind of like turned his back with Dorian Roldan because he doesn't feel the love, he doesn't feel the support from El Ojo. I honestly feel like they are getting all that. They're trying to take advantage of that heat of people thinking that Alberto's getting pushed to the side by WWE or by AAA because of all the stuff that happened in the past, and the fans are supporting him. So I think there could be a babyface turn, but I'm loving it that you guys are taking advantage of it. Konnan is like, hey, people want to see Alberto. People want him to leave Dorian Roldan, and it seems like there could be some heat there too.
Right. You're absolutely right. That's what I do. I listen to the crowd. I'm not going to row against the current. They booed him. I loved it. If you're going to cheer him, I'll give you a reason to cheer.
Yeah, they're booing the heck out of Dorian Roldan and El Ojo, but they're cheering out of Alberto El Patron. So you guys are hearing what the fans want, and you are giving it to him. I was putting it this way, Konnan, thinking about it like how AEW didn't capitalize on CM Punk and the Elite. Everybody knew what had happened there, but they didn't want to launch towards it. They were like, no, separate shows, separate locker rooms. They're not going to interact. Here,
bro,
it's
they missed a moment there to really get viewers in and maybe stay. And they did nothing, bro. Me and Disco ripped them up over that. Because WWE will take advantage like that.
That was a money-making machine right there. They were like, no, let's just keep everybody happy and let's just separate these two guys right here. It's like, hey, you guys are jumping towards let's have Alberto be Dorian for this reason, which is very valid. And instead of just being like, okay, let's see where it takes us.
And it gets deeper because I don't think you saw this. I'm not sure if it came out yet. There's a backstage interview where Macias is asking Alberto that what's going on. Why is he saying that people are jealous of him? I'm your friend. I went out there. I was with you in the cage match, but I couldn't get in. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So I don't think it's come out yet. And, he's telling Alberto, I always have your back. If something's going on behind your back in El Ojo, I'll let you know.
Joe, pull up the cage match ratings from the
they shake hands
from the Triple H the Triple H show this past week, the Vikingo match against. What would you, Konnan, if you were doing star ratings, how many stars would you give Vikingo?
I don't do star ratings.
But I'm saying hypothetically speaking, if you did, how many would you give it?
Okay, here's the thing.
The Vikingo Chad Gable one, right?
No, Vikingo versus the Alberto.
He's talking about Querétaro.
Oh, the cage one from Monterrey. He's talking about.
He's talking about.
Yes, the cage one from Monterrey. Yeah.
Yeah, Vikingo didn't wrestle in Querétaro.
Yeah. If I had to give that,
there's no reason.
Not that good.
Okay, just being honest, because I was going to say for keeping it 100, there's been a lot of backlash for the way some of those spots worked out with the fire extinguishers, different things.
Right.
So fair is fair. All right, so Konnan, here's Konnan, the guy, the actual book of AAA, admitting that he thought a match wasn't good. So we're keeping it 100. I just want to go on the record with that. What about Joe? Well, let's talk about this, Harry. What about the big number for AEW Dynamite last week at the CMLL show? And what is your? We gave our opinions on why the number was so high. What's your opinion why it was so high?
I mean, it was the novelty. It's the same thing why they had that many fans in the stands, because it was the first time there. And I mean, I'm
talking about why did it do so well of a number in the States, like well above?
Same reason, because people were like, "Oh, they are coming live from Mexico City," which, for example, WWE hasn't done in, I want to say, over a decade. That they haven't had a live Raw or SmackDown from Mexico City. They just do house shows. So fans wanted to see how the fans would react, how the show would go on, and they knew that Mystico was going to be wrestling MJF. That's a top of the line match right there.
I completely disagree with everything you're saying. Let me tell you why. My opinion, right? Just like the AAA Worldwide show. Okay, versus WWE. The actual organization was like AAA. Now, if you're a Mexican and you've come to the United States and you don't get lucha anymore, And it's like you're hearing on TV, wow, AAA is wrestling in LA. Like the organization AAA is gonna be there. Plus, if you're in Mexico, it's like, wow, there's gonna be Arena Mexico's on TV on Wednesday night. Like, bro, there's got to be a lot of Mexican fans here that probably grew up with the Arena Mexico. It has to be the Latino number. Has to be of Dynamite.
It came
Should
out.
be out by now, right?
Let me see.
Yeah. So listen to this. What would you think the number would be this week? They did like 730 last week.
I would say 680.
Okay. They didn't lose 30% of the audience from last week. The last week they gained a considerable amount of Latino of Mexican viewers that wanted to watch Arena Mexico. And I think this number proves it. Like there was just an outlier number. Plus, it was treated like a pay-per-view. Like they promoted it for like about 2 months.
Yeah, man. But you're both kind of saying the same thing. It is. We all know what it is. It's the novelty.
Right.
Is Tony ever going to get 92,000 in England again? I doubt it. Because it was the novelty.
Right.
But this is the thing. If the show was good, that show in England, that was considered a good show, right?
Yeah. Every pay-per-view is always considered a good show for them. So.
Harry?
Right.
You're the expert here.
Sorry, fellas. I had some issues with my AirPods, and I had to take them out and put the speaker on my computer for.
Okay,
So yeah, Disco says it's because Mexican fans.
I don't know, but I just
100%.
want to ask you a question. Was it considered that show in London? I believe it was the one that did 92,000 a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
So that'll help them when they come back, but I don't think they will hit 90 again, right? Or maybe
They've
not
been
even
back
80.
Twice, Konnan.
Oh,
They've already been there twice.
And how did they do the second time?
Well,
The
there was like
second time
25% less the second time.
Okay. So I think that
attendance for 24 was 46,476. That's down from the previous year, which was 72,265. So, like Disco said, almost 30,000 less.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what I think this is going to help us because a lot of people watch the show, and of course, there's word of mouth, and everything's been positive, right? Very little people did not like the show. So now the word's out that show is good. And then the next place we go to, which I already know, which has a lot of Mexicans, I think that, we're going to do good. Right. Plus, bro, here's the thing that they don't understand in the United States, because even though they have a huge wrestling base, they don't understand, bro, how rabid the Mexican fans are. They absolutely, especially in Juarez. That's why everybody goes to El Paso, Impact, or, whoever goes, AEW. They love it. They want to go back, because, AEW, you saw how they treated them. They went nuts, bro. They just love, that's a wrestling city.
And that's something that you want for TV. Heck, Eddie Guerrero, when he had his championship celebration going back to the Don Haskins Center in El Paso on SmackDown, I think it was, that fan base was nuts. It was incredible. I think he wrestled John Cena that night before John Cena was as huge as he is now. And it's like, why don't they go back to El Paso? Good thing that Impact and that AEW have recognized. And the more Mexican fans you have, or Mexican heritage fans, if you want to call them like that, go to those kind of cities. LA obviously is a great example, but LA is like a huge pot with fans from all over the world. Can I ask you, Konnan, the next show, you said you know where it is already? East Coast, West Coast? Can we get a hint on that?
Yeah, no.
Okay. We'll keep it at that.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.